Welcome to Lorehammer, a beginner's guide to 40k. This is episode 3, the Ork Infestation.
Welcome back to Lorehammer. My name is Eric.
And I'm Mark.
I'm Jordan.
Joining us today is one of our other friends that plays Warhammer. His name is Frank. Say hello.
Hello.
So we're going to ask Frank a couple questions just to kind of introduce you guys to him. So, Frank, how long have you been in the hobby of Warhammer?
Like 4 or 5 years, give or take, but with breaks for about a year or two in between.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
Yeah, because so Christian was one of our other guys, and it's him and Frank are brothers. There's either another guy we'll get on at some point in that family. But so Christian would have started first, right?
Yeah.
And then you and John would have joined in later.
Actually, I think it was
No, I
John.
think John started
John first?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
The Tyranids take everything, right?
they sure did.
Just absorb. Yeah, so what got you started in Warhammer?
Really was my brother on Christmas. He told me to spend... It was my brother and Mark, actually.
Surprise.
On Christmas, they told me to spend all my Christmas money on a box set of... What was it? The Ork...
Black Reach?
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
Black
Black
Reach.
Yeah.
It was Black Reach. Yeah.
They've had that box set forever.
All $75 of my Christmas money.
Money you'll never get back.
Yeah. Money, it's all in the bits box
It's
now.
gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
There's no recovering those models. That was probably what got me started on my Black Templar army, really.
What? You had Christmas money and
No, the Black Reach. Because
Oh.
Black Reach was Templar, wasn't it?
No,
No.
Black Reach is Orcs.
I
and
thought it was
Ultramarines.
Ultramarines.
Yeah.
There was a Black Templar.
Why
box.
no,
Did you
it
take the
starts-
Ultramarines out of that set?
No, I don't like the
Who
plastic.
took... What happened to those?
They're probably just in the bits
The
box.
bits bin.
We have.
They've
we
been
have-
used.
They've been used.
They've been
we
used.
have this bin at home that's just like full of useless bits that. Yeah, it's pretty
It's a
gross.
bits bin.
It's a bits bin, but it's massive.
Yeah.
I've had people who are like, "Oh yeah, I'm really into Warhammer, like I love it," and then they come over and they see the bin and they're just like speechless
Yeah.
from it.
Like, I love it, but not that much.
Yeah, they're like, "Are you kidding me? What is that?"
So yeah. Again, all Warhammer can be attributed to Mark. So there's that. Literally everyone in this room is probably into it because of Mark.
Accurate.
Huh. Wow. So what am I like? Do I have mind control powers? Like, what's the deal? I'm not very sociable, so.
It's just the slow seduction. That's all.
That.
He just starts tickling you where it hurts. Anyways, Frank, what's your favorite army?
Orcs.
Orcs, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Coincidence?
Yeah.
Or
planned. Because today we're gonna talk about that. But your favorite army is Orcs. Is there a specific like lore area that you really like, or do you not really care about the lore at all?
Yes. To
Both
that
of those
question.
questions?
Yeah, no, I kind of really I like Orc culture. That's probably the coolest thing to me.
Yeah. What like the biggest turn on for Orc culture is how dumb it is.
Yeah.
But
And they're almost they're like the funniest.
yeah.
And they kind of are into the play style that I like of like a very melee heavy.
Yeah, a mob.
Yeah.
A mob
just,
mentality.
Very aggressive kind of brute play style. My Skyrim characters are always two-handed swords, so
Right.
makes
Big
sense.
orcs.
Warriors, orcs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all the same thing.
Makes sense. And I guess that's going to segue into what we're talking about today, because today we're going to discuss the Ork Infestation. So, really, I guess we're past 2 episodes have been about the Warp and then the War in Heaven.
Yeah.
So now that we've kind of finished the War in Heaven, we're going to talk about the race that the old ones invented
They
or
seeded,
seeded,
whatever.
Yeah. But there's 2 things before we get into our main topic. Number 1 is I had a question. Is someone submitted to us? Do the orcs, and I picked it just because we're talking about orcs today. Do the orcs want to kill everyone just because of bloodlust?
I wouldn't even say it's bloodlust.
Right, and that's what I would agree with you that It's nothing to do with bloodlust, and it's their DNA. It's programming.
Yeah,
They're not particular. Like, you can't have like one orc who is particularly. Well, I guess you can, but it's all about their DNA.
Yeah.
Like, they were bred for it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think like of a good example, like of animals that just do one thing and they do it because that's what they're made to do. But
yeah, I don't have one.
Yeah.
But like it makes sense with orcs because of the way their tech produces. Like they're not smart. They don't invent things. Like all their knowledge.
Or are they the most inventive?
Get out of here. Oh really? More than the
the
Joker,
argument
though?
could be made. The argument could, they can pick up like it works because they say it works.
That
nothing about orc machinery should work.
It's actually a misnomer. Has been updated in the lore. There's 2 parts.
What?
I know.
I'm
changed.
so far behind. Okay, what changed?
Fine.
How did that? Are we gonna get into that?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that later.
Oh well, that's.
But there is like there has been a big shift in orc lore and in everything in like the past 2-3 years. Like even like in the Necrons, like I was super wrong.
Very behind then.
Yeah, I was super wrong on like a lot of like the lore about Necrons because I was reading old stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can attribute it to bloodlust.
No.
I think you attribute it to their DNA.
It's like these microphones.
You're still going and trying to get to an analogy. Just drop it, Mark.
Okay, it's like the warp.
Oh my gosh, it's an ocean, guys.
It's all an ocean. Yeah, no, they do it not for the sake of doing it. They do it because they like it. Like
that is for the sake of doing it, but they're doing it because they're bred to that purpose.
Yeah.
Right? They have no other purpose other than fighting.
Yeah.
Right? They are not farmers.
Yeah.
They are not like peaceful existence. Like their whole purpose is to fight.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a bloodlust as much as it is a purpose of life. Okay.
Sure.
Which we're gonna get into later. Updates on the previous episode we were listening to and realize there's a couple things. Another name for the old ones is the Slan.
Yeah. And they even have pictures of them, but like it looks awfully familiar to like a Warhammer Fantasy Slan model. So I don't know but it was on Lexicanum, so maybe that could be official, but yeah.
But right, because there's so many different things around the old ones, like so there's not like really anything, but they're also referred to as the Slan.
Yeah.
Another thing that we should have added was the warding of the galaxy.
By
the Satan. Yeah. So this is back when there's really only 4 or 5 Satan left.
Yeah.
They begin to set up these great warding pillars, really, like on all corners of the galaxy. And what this would do, and I can't believe we didn't mention this, is it
even plays like a huge thing in 40k. So
yeah, no, exactly.
But go with your saying, and then I'll say it's
it completely cuts off the materium and the warp.
Yeah.
So like if they had finished this warding of the galaxy, if you were a psyker, you would no longer have any connection to the warp. It would cut off everyone's connection to the warp.
Yeah. So in 40k, like basically from 30k to 40k, Abaddon, the spoiler, which we'll talk to eventually about.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Really good friend, really.
Real fun guy to hang around
Real fun guy.
He basically goes on 13 Black Crusades to like destroy these pillars, or rumored pillars that the Satan made that are holding the warp. And then when he does actually do it, it's also rumored that, that's when the galaxy gets ripped in half by the warp storm that is now currently happening.
It's almost like they were kind of holding something back.
Yeah.
So they play a massive role.
Yeah, I think that's still all kind of mostly speculation and kind of like the Games Workshop, like it could be these.
Right.
So,
they're leaving it open to interpretation because they want to leave some mystery.
But so that is a pretty neat part. Because
if they had succeeded, nothing would have, like the Eldar are useless without the webway.
Yeah, because the Satan's main weakness was warp power. So if they cut that off, then they would have been virtually.
Yeah, nothing would have stood in their way. So that's a little addendum from there. So without further ado, let's get into the main topic today. And we are going to start with Krork and the Ork.
Yeah. So the old ones made the Krork, and then eventually they turned into the Ork.
Turned into is the wrong word.
Yeah, eventually they changed their name. Eventually,
I think
they don't even say what happened. Literally, we just told you all the Games Workshop has told us about it.
It's literally like, hey, the old ones created the Krork, and then flash forward millions of years, and there's the Ork.
And they're called the Ork now.
Right, exactly. Even though technically they're the exact same, because there is no evolutionary process that happens at all with the Ork.
Yeah,
they
they're
do not
basically
change.
the only constant in the universe pretty well, which is kind of weird to think about because they're so like
They're orcs.
they're orcs, but they're the thing you can rely on. You can. If you want your planet invaded, just wait. They'll come and they'll invade.
And they'll never leave.
And they'll never leave.
No
you
matter
can
how many
rely on
times.
them, okay?
Couple decades later.
Yeah. We were talking earlier, and this is just speculation on my part too. I like to think that the Krork became the orc when the old ones died out, because when the old ones are around, the old ones would have been guiding the Krork a little bit and kind of like
Again,
pointing
guiding.
them
I wouldn't say. I would say channeling.
channeling, guiding.
Because you can't guide a species like that.
Why can't you though?
Because their entire purpose is bred to destruction. Like they have no lasting legacy other than destruction.
Yeah, but okay, whatever. That's semantics we're talking about right there. That is. Don't give me that look. That's what I like to think, that they were the Krork until the old ones left.
Yeah, and there's
And
actually
then
good
after.
supporting theory for that purely because of the brain boys
Yeah.
and what it would mean, and because of how they are controlled through the psychic Waaagh. So if all of a sudden this great powerful psychic beings that were controlling them leave, it does make sense that they not
Kind of would-
devolve, but they
yeah.
lose a little purpose.
Yeah, exactly. It just they kind of make a little shift, but it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, and there's nothing. There's not a lot about the Krork like listed. So
No, literally, like the
yeah.
only sentence is the Krork become the orc.
right, and
or,
we're just gonna
that's
talk
all.
about orc
Yeah.
today because we can't speculate too much on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we could, but that's not that fun.
No.
So the first part to understand about orcs is that technically they are just a subspecies of the Orcoid.
Yeah. So, Orcoids is really what the old ones made, and
Right.
the Orcoids.
It's a fungal ecosystem,
yeah.
which
And-
is phenomenal to think of. It's nothing more than spores and dust.
Yeah,
Like from an orc to a little squig to the mushrooms they create, they're
Gretchen,
all
to a grot.
yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah, and it's the craziest thing too, like, cause like they're like self-contained, replicating societies or whatever. They don't need anything except that initial
fungus.
Yeah, that initial spore.
Yeah.
And then from there it goes and expands into like this huge orc society that makes orcs. It makes all the Gretchens and food
Yeah.
supply and
So there's these 5 different classifications of orcoids. So orcs being the dominating ones.
yeah. So orcs are big, green, muscle-bound. They're the brutes basically of the society.
Not necessarily though, because they're also the smartest.
No.
If
they're
you're gonna
not.
say the Gretchen, they have low cunning.
That's smarter than an orc who has
I don't know.
no cunning.
I don't agree with that at all, because there are like the orcs are what determine like where they go. It's like the Gretchens
Is that intelligence though? Is that just instinct or
don't
drive?
like the beast. Like they have intelligence. It's just that it's not profound in their population. Like everyone's
Okay, yeah. So every now and again you get a very intelligent orc, but on a whole, Gretchen are more intelligent than an orc.
it says low cunning. Like they use
They're
like
crafty.
they are crafty.
Okay, well, whatever.
Sure, yeah. But so the orcs are the leaders, and
Yeah.
mainly because all of the orc society is built on size and strength.
Yeah, the biggest and the strongest rules.
So you have the orcs, and we'll get into the physiology of it after. But you have orcs, and then Gretchens, who are also called grots,
Yeah,
and then you have snotlings, and then squigs, and then you have the orc fungus.
yeah,
So everything, like there's like a hierarchy to it all. So you get the orcs. Orcs are extremely resilient. Bones are thicker than ours. Brains are about the same size. Like
muscles are bigger.
muscles are bigger, tougher.
They can grow to be apparently like 10 meters tall.
Yeah, there's no limit really, because it
Yeah.
all depends on how. Well, I don't know if I want to get into this yet, but
we'll hold
yeah,
off. But
there's no real limit on how large an orc can grow.
yeah, you could get one the size of a human, or you can get one that's
30 feet.
30 feet.
Right.
You know.
And then it's all based on how powerful that orc is. He'll lead the society until someone comes and knocks him down.
Yeah,
Right. So it's all based on size and strength.
yeah,
You get the Gretchens and Grots, which are smaller. They have the nimble fingers, is what they say. They're responsible for the farmings.
yeah. They take care of all the details of orc society, because where
Right.
orcs are focused mostly on being like savage war creatures that are just bred for war.
Right.
Somebody has to be behind them and tinker with the engines of their vehicles, or grow the food, or
Right.
do all these tiny tasks that the orcs do not want to do.
Yeah, and that would be the Gretchens. The Snotlings. Let me switch over here.
Snotlings are like even littler, tinier Gretchen, basically. They're
aren't they used as ammo?
They're used as ammo, they're used as food, like they're just a tinier Gretchen, and they kind of just...
Okay, so...
How big do the Gretchen get?
The Gretchen are probably...
Yeah, they're capped. They're like they do not get large at all. Like,
but they're probably like 4 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
at the most, I would
Kind of
say.
like
Yeah.
dwarfs or something.
Yeah.
And then a Snotling.
Yeah, like think of like a goblin from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Nice comparison.
We're Lord of the Rings guys.
And then the Snotlings are even smaller.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
the Gretchens are considered like servants.
Yeah.
The Snotlings are considered pets.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like they get even the jobs that the Gretchens don't want.
On the subject of grots, isn't there what was the name? There was one grot I know that grots, their life expectancies are like super limited. Like
Yeah, I
they
think I know
only
what you're talking
survive
about.
like I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but they only survive like a couple. Like there's one grot where the oldest, they called him, he had some kind of name, but he only survived like I think it was a month or two.
Yeah, it was not very long.
It was not long
Okay,
at all.
You were talking about Makari the Grot.
Yeah.
He's
and
thought
his banner.
He's thought to be the luckiest Gretchen
Yeah.
ever, surviving for 9 years.
Yeah. Until his owner sat on him. That's
sat
how
on
he
him.
dies. Yeah, 9 years, something. Yeah, and that's like the longest, the oldest.
Oh,
that,
they have like really short life.
yeah, because the other orcs like tend to like kill them in like, or they use them in like testing of like weaponry, or they use them in.
How long does like a regular, just like an orc live?
So orcs are almost functionally immortal.
Oh, okay.
Like they don't die of
Really?
old age.
Only if they die by
I guess
fighting.
fighting. Yeah.
Do they
Because-
kind of
because-
regenerate? In a way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's like, we'll get into it more in detail, but you can cut off an orc's arm, pick up another orc arm,
Right.
put it back
Yeah.
on with
Oh, okay.
with like super glue.
Okay.
and, like,
it'll
you'll-
like
it-
fuse back.
Yeah,
together.
it's the Pain Boys are described as using 19th century surgical apparatuses.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like their understanding of like surgery is like 19th century for us. That's the 1800s.
Yeah.
Like
But they don't really like need like precise scientific
No,
stuff.
no.
because and so this goes a lot
We're
into
pretty
the
crude.
into the physiology of an orc, which we'll get to after we talk about squigs.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So-
basically, yeah, like it's not confirmed, but I'd say they're functionally immortal. Like
Yeah.
it's
Like,
just
it's-
when you're fighting all the time, you
Yeah.
have a high
Your
rate of
chances
attrition.
of
Yeah.
surviving
Yeah.
that long.
Because all you do is fight.
Yeah.
Even amongst themselves.
Yes. So the squigs is going to be the next one. They have like no limbs. They just
Well,
slide on the ground. They're,
Squigs, there's actually a bunch of different types of squigs.
There are,
There's
yes.
like squigs that are almost like dogs.
yeah.
And like
There's squigs that are beasts and large enough to ride.
Yep. There's squigs that literally like they're a top knot. They're like a little hairy fungus squid that like attaches to an orc's head and kind of just like sucks on it. And it's like
So that's a snack on the go. Because the orcs
They
eat
eat
squigs.
squigs, right?
Yeah.
It's like their number one like diet is like squigs and fungus.
And they
Yeah.
just grow the squigs
Yeah.
for food.
yeah.
yeah.
And then
On
turn
their
them
head.
But
into-
not only
On
that,
their heads,
there's
yeah,
also
but-
like so the pain boys who are the doctors of the orcs, they'll use like a certain type of squig as a syringe. They'll like fill the squig with something and then use the squig to inject it into an
Yeah.
orc.
There's other ones that have like their stomach isn't very digestible. So
The bags.
The orcs will use them as bags and just shove stuff into the squid.
Yeah, they'll
And
like
then-
open its mouth and just put things in the squig and carry the squig.
yeah. So
So they use them as backpacks.
yeah,
The
like-
squig is really the glue that holds all orc culture together.
the most useful
The most
thing.
useful, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's squigs come in all shapes, sizes, and uses.
Yeah, and
Um,
and then what's crazy is it all comes from the very last part of the orcoid, and that's the fungus.
Yeah.
This one spore fungus will just latch on to something in the world and just grow and expand.
So first it'll start and it'll just grow some fungus squig that have
Continue eating
Yeah.
the spores because they feed
And
upon
then-
their own mushrooms and fungus.
and then they release more spores, and then you'll get a couple snotlings coming up, and then they release more spores, and then you get Gretchen, and they release spores, and you get orcs, and eventually you get this full society from one spore.
Right, which is there's another race that does something similar to that, the Tyranids.
I disagree with that, but okay.
Like
I would say it's similar. Not how it's done, but the fact that like a planetary invasion can begin with something so tiny.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I'll give you that. But Jordan?
So like when you're say growing an orc, like how much like I guess like acres does one orc take, or does it grow like is it like a creep that covers the ground? Is that what the spores are like?
The pictures show it as just like a fungus, like a mushroom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It really grows like a mushroom. So what I saw, it was like a rock, and then there were mushrooms on the side that orcs would pull off and eat. And they'll grow from that. Like they'll grow from the ground or dark places. Yeah. It does not take much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially because... Oh, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Oh, the one thing to note too is since orcs don't really care about history or where they come from or anything like that, like Games Workshop hasn't really expanded a lot on it, on like, how many acres will grow how many boys. Because like to the orcs, they don't care. They just want to fight. And it's not like humans are going in there and like watching them because...
Right, we're just killing them.
We're just trying to kill them.
What we know about orcs is from autopsies.
Yeah,
so...
But there's caves and they'll just grow on the caves and you just pick food, or one will eventually grow into an orc and
So this is where the physiology actually plays a big role, because orcs have an ability to photosynthesize. They don't even really need food. So the green.
I guess because they're a plant,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess.
Their skin is really green, not for the only reason is it's full of chlorophyll. And that chlorophyll absorbs sunlight and it feeds, it like sustains its body. Another thing to note is that a lot of like the main organs, like important organs that we have, while orcs are technically humanoid and bipedal, they do not have those organs.
Yeah, they don't have a heart pumping around.
Right.
Well, maybe they do actually.
It's possible. They definitely have lungs because they have gills.
Yeah.
Which again makes no sense, but it doesn't matter.
Like
because they're orcs.
Exactly.
So the majority of their body is actually just inside. It's fungus.
Yeah.
They do have a heart because they have blood.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think.
Their blood is a dark green because it's full of copper and it's full of one other thing. But it's another thing like all the elements that an orc needs are inside it already, and everything else it needs like it can get from the sun. So which is really interesting. Like an orc can just replenish itself by being outside.
Yeah. No, that's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Do they need water?
Not that I read. Right? Because there's water in the air that they breathe, right? Like a mushroom doesn't take much. It just takes a dark space.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of plants are like that. It's like a couple drops of water and they'll grow.
Right, yeah. So their bones, it says they're not filled with marrow like our bones. It's just fungus. An interesting note is that they are a combination of animal and plant. Animal and fungus.
Yeah.
There is one part of their body that has absolutely no plant in it. It's their brain.
Oh, okay.
So the brain is around the same size as a human, but they don't use any of it. Right? Like, and it is also important to note that when their brain is developing, the bigger and like more advanced in life they get, their brain unlocks information for them.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about orcs. It's like
they don't have to learn anything because they get like the knowledge just becomes available to them as they reach a certain point in their life.
Yeah.
So like their technology, like it works because like these guys repair it just because they intrinsically know how. It's in their DNA how to fix this tech. So they're really young, small orc, they don't know anything, and as they get older, it just unlocks in their brain and they know what to do.
Yeah, and as they kind of go along the path that they've chosen, because like not every orc instantly automatically knows like everything.
No. It's some orcs. It's in their DNA.
Well, I'm sure it's in all their DNA.
Would it also would it also depend on like the kind of orc it is, right? Because
yeah, like,
you get the different like you get like your orc boys, and you get like your weird boys and your
absolutely
your
yes
boys.
Yeah,
but you don't. But you
and they have different like jobs.
Yeah, so,
but you don't know what your job is until it starts
That's
unlocking in your brain.
Like it's not like all orcs are gonna know what a pain boy does, or
no.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
No, I agree with you, Frank. Yeah.
Yeah.
An orc boy has no need to know anything besides how to swing his axe and shoot a pistol horribly.
But a lot of shots.
but a lot of shots.
Yeah.
You just
So
spam that trigger.
that's like the orc. It's super resilient.
Yeah.
Like cutting off an arm on an orc. Oh, there's also no nerves.
Yeah, because
They don't feel pain.
yeah.
Amazing.
So like
Amazing.
you cut off an arm on an orc, not a big deal
Yeah.
at all. Like, and so when like surgery, what are they call them, like upgrades or something? When like the pain boys are doing upgrades, probably with a Z or something,
Yeah.
on an orc, like it is not uncommon for them to just chop arms off and put something else in its
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
I don't like
Right?
this arm anymore. You got a flamethrower over there. Like,
Put it on.
Put it on.
Right? Like
Yeah.
orcs can also survive having their heads cut off and put on something else. And not even like 1 in 10 chance, like it's common practice
Yeah.
even for them
Yeah.
to be like, here's a new body. So
Yeah, this orc lost a head, this orc lost its body. Let's just make one orc.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. Like that, they're so resilient because they'll just grow.
Yeah, they're just fungus.
Right.
Can you ever essentially actually kill an orc?
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire will always
but
an
so,
exterminatus on a planet will get rid of an orc.
Right. No, okay. So I'm saying like Space Marine comes down with a chainsword,
Yeah.
smokes an orc in the face.
That orc is coming back in 10 years.
Well, okay, so here's what I would say.
Does it take time for that
Yes.
orc to come?
Yeah,
But,
but
The orc itself is not coming back, but the spores it's releasing.
right,
Oh, yeah.
because when they die, they release spores. Yeah.
Think of it kind of like zombies too. Like, you got to destroy the brain to kill a zombie. I'd think the same way. Like, as long as the orc's brain is still intact, he can still come back.
Him personally.
Him personally
But-
can still come back.
Okay, but think of it on a grander scale, the infestation.
Well, yeah, like
Right, because that's where you have to get way more technical and careful.
Yeah.
Right, you kill an orc's brain. Yes, that orc is not coming back to swing a hammer at you in the next couple days.
besides that orc could potentially come back.
Yeah.
You cut off all its limbs, cut off its arms, whatever. It could still come back.
Yeah.
That specific orc.
Right.
Does not make sense.
No, it doesn't, because they're not.
Yeah,
They're not
They're not
human.
meant to be, and that's
Right.
They're trees. They're fungus. Like, you can go cut off a branch and graft it to another branch. It's not hard.
Have you ever done that? It's not hard.
I don't know.
You can do it.
You can do it.
I don't know how
We'll
to
do
do
it, Mark. Let's go
never
try it.
done. Okay, sure.
Let's go try it.
Wikipedia.
The
You guys ever-
I read it on the Wikipedia.
Have you guys ever ate a grapple before?
No, what is
A
that?
grapple? Isn't that a
half grape, half apple.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
That sounds like some unholy science.
No,
I
it's-
say we
That
burn
sounds
it.
amazing.
No, they're really, really good. They're
you
like
had them?
apples that taste like grapes.
Are they
Are you
big like
serious?
apples or what?
What?
Are they big like apples? Or
Yeah,
what?
like it looks like an apple.
Huh.
It's like a little darker hue.
They are playing God.
They
But
also
it's like grafting They just graft like grapes onto apple trees, and they like genetically engineer, and they're called grapples. Yeah.
That's awesome. I gotta check.
I
This out.
thoroughly don't agree with this.
They also have
Burn
cotton
it.
candy grapes.
Oh really?
Yeah, where they taste exactly like cotton candy.
I like
Wow.
craisins.
See, so basically, orcs are like
Orcs are like
Grapes.
grapples.
Orcs are fruit, essentially.
They really they are a plant.
Orcs
Yeah.
are the fruit of the mushroom.
They
oh,
chicken of the cave.
If you think of it that way, they're kind of cute.
Until a 30-foot
Until
one
it
is-
tries to rip your face off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a pretty basic understanding of the orc physiology, how they like grow, how they expand, because they just release spores and they grow and grow.
yeah.
Um,
Do we want to touch a little more on releasing spores and stuff?
sure. There's really only a couple things to mention. The number one is they're always releasing spores.
Yeah.
Oh,
everywhere-
really?
Yeah.
I thought it was only when they
No,
died.
they're always releasing spores, but it is a burst when they die.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like if you scratch yourself, you release skin particles.
Yeah.
And
And
so
they
they
just,
always-
For them,
they
it
just-
would be releasing
but it's
spores.
very minute compared to, you're right,
When they
die.
do
Yeah.
they like explode?
I don't think
Or
they were-
doesn't it just like grow out of their remains?
It-
like
Yeah.
It definitely can.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a physical explosion.
No.
Either.
Yeah.
It's more like a release.
Yeah.
Right. It's like spores are in breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Crazy. I didn't know they were always releasing. I thought it was just on death.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it like
And this is why they call it the infestation, because
Right.
you cannot
yeah.
get rid of
The-
it.
the-
As soon as an orc lands on a planet, that planet is
got orcs forever.
pretty well
Yeah.
forever.
To really get rid of that planet and have it still be inhabitable is a losing battle.
Yeah.
Like you can't really.
If you were to exterminatus a planet,
100%. Nothing survives in exterminatus.
Yeah.
okay.
Well-
so that's essentially like that versus like a tyrannid sucking the planet dry. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Like an orc will take over a planet.
But I'm saying like an exterminatus would destroy that planet. Nothing.
Yeah,
that
like
is
the
no
planet
longer
turns to
usable.
glass
Yeah.
when you exterminatus,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah. There are different types of exterminatus too, as a side
true.
note.
Not the virus bombs.
Yeah,
Virus
there's a
bomb
bunch
and
of
then-
different
yeah.
types.
Anyway.
Exterminatus just means that the Imperium is doing a planet
throwing a
death.
tantrum. If we can't have it, nobody can.
The
Boom.
exterminatus is done on a planetary level,
Yeah.
where from space they will launch a bomb or something.
Yeah.
Virus bomb is really common though. Isn't that the most common one?
No, like the Death Eater virus, I think is like super rare because
Oh.
it's so dangerous. Like
And then they burn it though.
it's so dangerous
Okay.
just to move around and stuff. It's not the most common. Like
Okay.
it's way easier to like lance a planet to death.
To
than
what?
To lance, like lance batteries,
Oh, I see.
than and just like crack the planet shell.
Right, which
Then-
would throw everything off.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
well,
anyways.
the coolest one
Yes, the coolest one.
is virus bombing a planet, which is it's a virus that would kill every life form on it, like everything that breathes, and then it's all flammable, so they burn it.
Yeah, it
And-
basically liquidates everything.
Yeah, and it just eats the entire atmosphere.
Yeah.
So cool. Anyways, Imperium of Man, rocking your socks since M30. All right. So that's basic orcs.
Do,
The next,
one quick question.
Yeah.
When like, as far as like M30 and M40 and like when were orcs created?
millions and millions of years. So the war in heaven happens with the old ones. Between the old ones and the Necron Tur before they're even the Necron.
Yeah.
And like this is before any recorded history.
Yeah, they don't even have a date for it.
For
Yeah.
orcs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they were created
which
around
is the oldest race?
old ones.
And after that, Necron?
It's not really certain because there are a lot of races at the time, and we don't even know technically if the old ones are the oldest race, but they're the first galactic player.
You could assume though.
You could.
You could assume.
And orcs
just
were
for the
created
sake of
by
this
the oldest,
conversation.
Right? So
Technically,
that
I
orcs
would say that Ork and Eldar very similar start date.
wow. So they were also one of the oldest.
Yeah.
And if
races,
anything,
for
actually,
sure.
I would say orcs are even older than Eldar because Eldar, you have to like start them off as a
They had an
microbe,
evolutionary
and
process.
Then they become a walking turtle, and then they, you know what I mean? Where orcs, they're orcs.
Yeah.
That fungus has not changed. It's been
And
the
that's
very
that's
same.
why the fact that they don't evolve matters.
Yeah.
Because the old ones created the orcs, or however you choose. We'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
But when they were created, they are the exact same from between then, millions of years ago, and now.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Is there a question gonna come up later? If not, could you just answer it now? In that, like, why were they created?
Okay, so the old ones were losing the battle to the Necron in the War in Heaven, and so they created a bunch of races to help them fight the Necron.
Oh.
So they create, and this makes complete sense to me because they're controlled psychically, and then it's a savage, brutal race. Whereas
Bred for war.
bred for war,
Yeah.
right? So they create the Krork, who they call the Krork at that time, to help them fight the Necron. And that was their purpose.
Yeah.
And then as soon as their guiders, their channelers, the old ones are gone, now you just have this unstoppable ecosystem ravaging
So
the
they almost
galaxy.
they're yeah okay
It's
that's crazy.
It's unintended consequences.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
Of the old
because
ones,
they
right?
they were kind of like
They're
foot
also
soldiers. And
their
now
last a
gone.
lot of these races too were last ditch efforts. So the
Yeah.
old ones are not being as careful as they were when they created the Eldar.
Yeah.
So, and the old ones seeded lots of races. Like there's most accepted theory is we were created by them too.
Yeah. They just went across the galaxy and just seeded, and they just hoped for the best that one of these would become like the tool they needed to fight
Yeah.
in the war.
But the Krork are like a devastatingly powerful force when used correctly.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, that's definitely it's a long time ago. They have not changed at all. But Orc society now, Mark, go for it. Like the culture. Start with the deities.
So the orcs basically, they don't even worship really. Like they don't hold them as gods, but there's two orc examples that every orc looks up to, and they're called Gork and Mork. And who knows what they are. We'll get into that a little later, I think. But they're basically kind of like the ideal way an orc should be. They're just they live to fight. They fight to live. The more they fight, the bigger they are, and it's just kind of, it's almost like an ideology, almost.
Except that there is an orc that claims to be receiving visions from them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, so we'll get into
Not
that.
Thraka.
What? Yeah, Thraka.
Thraka.
No,
Thraka's received visions from
Gork and Mork.
Yeah.
It's true. He's the prophet of Gork and Mork.
Yeah, that's what they call him.
Eric, just
All right.
believe me.
Okay. I'm gonna.
He's still scrolling. He doesn't believe me.
Dang it.
Thraka.
He's right. It's Thraka. So the difference between them, and this is really dumb, is Gork is the god of cunning brutality, and Mork is the god of brutal cunning.
Yes.
So
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
You have to be an orc to fully understand
Right,
the difference between the two.
And it says
It's so clear. You don't hear.
I don't get it.
the subtle difference being that Mork hits you when you aren't looking, and Gork hits you hard when you are. So like, orcs
Yeah.
don't even remember this.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing too. Like, so orcs, they don't know which one. They don't know if Gork's the cunning one or if Mork is the cunning.
Right.
They don't really care.
So they
like,
fight about it because they fight about everything.
Yeah.
But those are like the two, like if ever like they were to worship something, it's Gork and Mork.
Yeah.
Chaos gods, anyone?
We'll get into
Really?
No, maybe.
Right, maybe.
We'll get into it.
Speculation?
Yeah.
Which gods would those be?
They would be their own.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
I guess you've never really heard it, how we do it.
Yeah, we'll do like a speculation section after.
Yeah.
We'll
and
get
for all our other listeners too,
Yeah.
so they know. We'll
Uh,
get more into them in a bit.
Yeah. So they have two gods though.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing, Mark, do the hierarchy. How do like the clans work versus societies?
So, I think I know what you're saying. Orcs, they all have a tribe. They all come from a certain tribe. So, an orc lands on a planet. He dies. He releases his spores. Eventually, those spores become like a tribe, and from there they grow, like we talked about, into all these different little creatures. And eventually, an orc becomes bigger and stronger than all the rest. That he takes over this tribe, and they usually name it after themselves.
They also get bigger by fighting and
Yeah.
all that, right? So like they fight with all the other orcs to become the biggest and the strongest
Yeah.
orc.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
important to know that
Yeah.
the reason they get bigger is because they are winning.
Yeah.
And other people give them praise and cheering and adulation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it forces them to grow bigger.
It like does it trigger some sort of like chemical
Yeah,
hormone
absolutely.
response?
Like, when
like
they-
testosterone. Or
Yeah, no,
something?
that's exactly what it is. It releases like pheromones into their
Okay.
system.
They are
and
the
they
ultimate.
grow.
They are the ultimate egomaniacs. They are the egomaniacs of the 40K
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah, so eventually a war boss takes control, and at this point in their society, they're still like if they've been left without any other orc guidance, they're like feral boys, like feral orcs. They don't have any technology yet. They're kind of just using sticks and spears. But eventually, they grow big enough and strong enough that they do unlock
Right.
the use of
The
technology.
potential in their
Yeah.
brain finally unlocks. And then you get the
Yeah.
other boys, the tech boys
Yeah,
or whatever.
but so as the tribe grows bigger and bigger and bigger, they start to unlock more and more pieces of their
it's
DNA.
so weird.
Well, so here's kind of what I think. So
love it.
at a very beginning age, right? Let's say there's only 10 orcs, and they have the potential to make pistols. Now there's only one orc left.
That's
they no
true.
longer can grow.
That's true. Well, they
Right.
could, but it would be halted.
Exactly. Where if you keep them to using weapons that are spears, like you go stab a fungus, it's not going to matter.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They can continue to grow until they're big enough to actually become a threat, and then they
That's a good point,
they
actually.
unlock the technology
Because
to
until there is an enemy, they're a danger to themselves.
exactly. So if they're all running around with pistols and stuff,
Right.
yeah, that's not going to work. That's
Are
not going
there any like poisons that can kill orcs that you know of?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
think of them more like acids than poisons.
Yes.
Because I don't think there's a lot of poisons that would work on them.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is, but for example, Space Marines have a unit called Stern Guard, which are veterans, and they have a bunch of different special ammunition. And one of them's called Hellfire rounds, which is basically like a crazy acid. And they love using them on like orcs or like carnifex. It's things that like
Biomass.
things
Because
that
it eats your skin and flesh.
exactly. So think of it more like acids, but I don't think a lot of poisons would work.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking more like things that just to eat at a
Well,
orc.
yeah, exactly. They could, but
They're very resilient.
Yeah.
so eventually the orcs become numerous enough that they unlock this ability to create weapons or to create transportation, to create
Or
planes.
a decent enough threat comes where it unlocks in their brain.
Yeah.
Like, if they were fighting medieval humans, they would never need pistols.
Yeah, they might not unlock that because they don't need it yet.
Right. So, but all of a sudden, like it's like, all of a sudden it turns out they're on a Forge world.
Yeah.
Now they need guns and battle wagons and big guns.
Stupid.
No, it actually makes a lot of sense.
I
'Cause,
know,
like,
no, it's awesome, but it's just like
it's, yeah, okay, I understand the
Yeah.
context. It's stupid you're saying. Yeah.
It's stupid
Like-
because orcs are stupid.
Like
Yes.
they could potentially be the smartest
Yeah.
race in the galaxy.
like that's
if they're
totally
actually,
right.
yeah,
You
think
think it to
about
the
it, yeah,
end,
so-
like if they were if all they had to fight was like
No, but if they were if their brains were completely unlocked, like all
Yeah,
the
yeah, because for all we know,
information-
40k
Who
orcs only
knows?
have 30% of the unlocked
Yeah,
material.
totally.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like,
That's interesting.
There's got to be a cap though, because it doesn't unlock when they're fighting Eldar, and they need it when they're fighting like someone with tech that large.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
there's a cap,
Yeah,
Maybe.
or a decent enough threat has.
but like,
come
okay,
along.
so
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they're like, we don't need this much more to fight Eldar.
we can just fire
We're just,
squigs at them.
We're just
well,
bigger than
okay,
they
so
are.
here's the other thought. So let's say, yeah, so they're fighting Eldar, right?
Yeah.
It's like an even battle. They like that though.
That's
so,
true.
So if they unlock like the next tier of their technology, then they just wipe out the Eldar, and
Wouldn't
then they
be
have
fun.
nobody. Yeah, it wouldn't be fun. They'd no longer have anybody to fight. So it's almost like this.
That's funny.
yeah. So that's kind of
Interesting.
yeah. So yeah,
'Cause
I could only be at
I mean,
30% of
you
their
c-
knowledge.
It's a very real possibility because the old ones, like everything the Eldar know,
Yeah,
the old ones knew
and more.
and more, and the
Yep.
old ones created that. Okay, all right, I'm for it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
for it.
So yeah, eventually they unlock technologies and they have, like they become fully orcs
Yes.
and not just feral orcs.
Yeah,
And
and this is where the clans come in.
yeah, so clans are kind of like think of if,
Another analogy.
yeah, no, this one is
It's an ocean.
No. Okay, so you got Irish people, right?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, it just took a real weird turn.
Just trust me.
Don't worry, I'm Irish.
Oh, so I can make this joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gives you permission.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so
No Irish. Were
the Irish
triggered in the
people
making
is a
of this
tribe.
podcast.
The Irish people is a tribe. It's where they're from, whatever. But eventually, you got Irish Catholics, or you got different clans. So you can be
You have the McDougals
You got
and the
the
McGonagalls
yeah, but
and the
they're
McElmeans.
all these clans are still a part of this tribe.
They're all Irish.
Exactly. But clans, they can go like cross tribe. So you can have
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Because a clan, like you're part of the tribe, but the clan is deeper. Because the tribe is where you're born.
Yeah.
The clan is what you are.
Yeah, exactly.
So the clan is deeper than the tribe?
Yeah.
Yes. And no.
So in context of like bad moons and
Yeah.
goths
You
and
can-
all
Yeah,
that.
like all those.
So
like,
if-
I always thought they were like a tribe, but they're a clan.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
and so in the clan, so if I'm a goth, I'm
Yeah.
in the clan goth, and there's a separate tribe.
That's where you grew up. The tribe is where you grew up.
Yeah.
But you could join a different tribe under the same clan.
Yeah.
Right? You're still a goth. You could move tribes, but you're still a goth.
Yeah. Like that's like we're talking
As in,
about.
I could be a goth who becomes a bad moon, or
No.
That doesn't happen.
Clan
'cause-
doesn't change.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Tribe can.
So
But they wouldn't go cross clan.
No, you can't because a clan is who you are. So
It's like
think
what
of
we
the
were-
Bad Moons. The Bad
Yeah.
Moons is a clan. They are the richest clan out there because their teeth grow really quickly. Teeth.
teeth.
Teeth with an F.
Yeah.
TEF.
So
T-E-E-F.
they use teeth as currency.
Oh, okay.
So when you pull a tooth out, and then it grows back, like the faster your teeth grow back, the richer you are because you can
Oh,
keep
yeah.
pulling teeth
So
out.
so clan is very much like your genetic makeup, or
Yeah,
like
that's a
that-
good point. It's
that-
genetics.
That
It's what
part
unlocks.
of the brain, yeah, that you unlock. So we'll read the different clans that there are.
There are many, but there's 6 really large ones.
No, there's only 6.
Although it has been stated that there are many orc clans, there are only
Oh.
6 large and truly significant
okay.
ones.
I just read the bottom half.
Fair enough. There are only 6 large. Mark, there's a whole sentence to that.
I can only read short bursts and I pick and choose the words. Okay, so here are the main ones. I'll read them off and then we'll go back into detail. So Bad Moons, Blood Axes, Death Skulls, evil suns, goths, and snakebites. So bad moons, like Eric was saying, are the richest ones. They're the ones who they grow their teeth.
Teeth.
I'm
gonna hold you accountable. It is teeth. It's fascinating. I was reading actually about orc.
Do all orcs use teeth?
Yeah.
as
All
currency?
orcs, yeah.
Okay.
And I was reading it because it literally, like, there's a currency and an economy involved. So,
Yeah.
teeth erode, so
Yeah.
you cannot hoard them at all. So,
You constantly have to be fighting and getting more teeth
Right.
if you want to get more stuff.
right. But, like, if you're just a regular guy, you will get as much teeth as it erodes. So, prices remain constant.
Yeah.
There's no inflation. And so then, what it was is
As a
that-
banker, you find this fascinating.
I think it's hilarious.
No, it actually is pretty sweet.
Like,
but
so they're saying that like one tooth will get you like a beer.
yeah,
Like a battle wagon is gonna cost you like 100 teeth.
Yeah.
Or something, and like a bag of
Are they constantly regenerating teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So and that's what makes the bad moons really rich is that their teeth grow really quickly.
yeah.
And orcs trade amongst other orcs
Yeah.
too, don't
Yeah.
they?
Oh yeah, there's an entire trading system, but it's mainly the squigs that run like the entrepreneur stuff. Not the squigs, the Gretchens.
Yeah.
The Gretchens / Grots, they're the ones who sell beer. They they are responsible for the food and everything. But I think it's fascinating.
It is pretty neat, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway, so you can be a bad moon and you're really rich.
yeah. Then you have blood axes, and they are usually distrusted by others, and they prefer to use like actual tactics and camouflage.
So other orcs think they are, quote, unorky.
Yeah, because instead of just running straight at the enemy into a gun line,
Right.
they might sneak around and.
They're going to use camouflage. They're going to use pincer movements. They're going to use their environment to their advantage.
So that's the part of their own brain that unlocks to kind of.
Yeah,
learn
they
these
understand
yeah,
tactics better
Those are
than
the blood
others.
axes?
Yeah.
blood axes.
Yeah.
Then you got the death skulls, and they're famed looters and scavengers. So we can talk about looting for a bit right now too.
They're famous what, sorry?
Looters and scavengers.
Okay.
They're an infestation. They basically will just take anything that they can find and like, oh, this is a nice shiny piece of metal. They take it and then they screw it into their arm. Like,
Yeah.
and they just will take anything that isn't nailed down, and even if it's nailed down, they'll take time to take it off and get it.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And apparently these guys are really good at it. So,
Absolutely.
So once again, that part of your brain unlocks and you become able to just take stuff apart and scavenge stuff.
And that's part of orc technology.
Yeah.
And like when I say technology, like it's not spelt like regular technology. It's phonetic because it's
Yeah.
orcs.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, next one.
Evil sons. They're the ones that love to go fast. They build a lot of vehicles. They just got this need for, I don't want to say it, but
Need for speed.
that's not
Does paint it red still?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they haven't changed that?
No,
Okay.
I
red
don't know
ones.
about tabletop, but I'm sure in 8th edition the rule still exists.
Okay, sorry. In lore, like
Yeah,
there
paint
is.
don't they just believe that like red is a faster color? So-
We're- I wanna get
purple
into
is
that.
a sneaky color. Yeah,
I
okay,
want to
we'll
get into that.
Oh, we're gonna
but-
get into that later?
Yeah,
Purple
we'll-
is a sneaky color?
Yeah.
Oh
If you-
my
be-
gosh.
Because their logic is, have you ever seen a purple orc?
Amazing.
No, you haven't.
Amazing. Oh man.
All right, there's two more. Two more
Goths, and they're actually the biggest and the strongest
of the orcs without being knobs.
without being knobs. But like as a boy, if you're a goth, you're usually just a little bigger and a little stronger.
A little meaner.
Little meaner.
And they're the close combat specialists.
Yeah. Then snake bites, staunch traditionalists. Yeah, so I guess they just don't like technology.
No, they don't like tech.
Yeah, which is weird because like I'm sure they still use weapons and stuff. And
Maybe they just don't
I
use
just-
they won't go on battle wagons.
yeah,
or-
I'm just trying to
Really?
think why this would be a thing that exists. Maybe it's just like old ways are best. Like hitting somebody with your fist is just so much more satisfying.
Exactly. Are you really an orc if you need a gun to kill them?
Okay.
They don't even use guns?
I
I'm
don't-
pretty sure they do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. But
Like-
maybe they don't like it, or they're the kind of guys who thinks that slavery is still a good idea.
Where is this going?
No, you get like you ever see, you know,
Should I
like
agree with that? You're looking at me like I should agree with that.
no, like you get like traditionalists today that are like like things were good back in the old days, where the
boy.
best orcs were the best and everything. That's
So glad you said orcs. I'm so glad you took it back to orcs. I was so confused.
That's how I think the
absurd.
snake bikes are. Like, they just believe that, like, when the tech starts erupting in the orc society because they finally like are big enough, they don't like the tech.
Yeah.
They're the kind who sits at the bar, like eating a squig, and they like, I remember back in my day when we were orcs and we just beat the piss out of each other.
They're like the old guy that's like, get off my lawn.
Right, exactly. That's a snake bite.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're the crotchety orcs.
Crotchety.
Right, exactly.
So then they have some non-clan things that are kind of a little interesting.
Yeah.
They
You're talking
got
about feral boys?
Feral boys, which
Freebooters.
freebooters and the cult of speed.
Yeah.
It almost seems like a religion almost, because like the cult of speed, like all they want to do is just go fast no matter what. Like they prefer just going fast than even fighting.
Really?
Yeah. And yeah.
But what's weird about this is that like these orcs claim to like not be a part of any clan.
Yeah.
And yet by banding together based on what their genetic code dictates, they've created a clan.
Yeah.
So it's almost like their brain is just like, we're separating ourselves from the clans even though we are creating a clan.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
it's odd the way it is.
Yeah, but so there's the freebooters, which are pirates.
Yeah.
And then the cult of speed, who
Pirates and outcasts.
yeah, they're outcasts. They are like they're anarchic. They don't like the system.
Anarchist?
Yeah, they're anarchists. So they spurn the system and the clans. They get out. They leave and they like form their own clan.
Yeah.
And then there's the cult of speed, who even want to go even faster.
Yeah. And
And then feral boys.
yeah.
So feral boys, like, I would say they're their own clan.
Yeah.
But it's like a regressive.
Well, yeah, like
thing.
I don't think so eventually they get enough technology that they get pistols. I don't think any of them are then going back and being like, we're now feral boys. Like once you reach a certain level,
Right.
you're not going back and becoming a feral boy.
Yeah, so it's almost like you're a feral boy if you're cut off from regular orc.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. So yeah, eventually the society grows and you get all these different clans starting to form up, and some start making technology, others are working on battle wagons.
Yeah, some are enhancing other orcs, some are exploring psychic abilities. Yeah. Because within the orcs, do we want to talk about like pain boys, Oddboyz,
Yeah, we can
weird
mention
boys?
them. Yeah, we can mention
Okay,
them.
I'm gonna grab that back, Frank.
So they go on. A war boss eventually gets bigger and stronger than everyone else in the tribe, and he basically is like, let's go fight some stuff. So if there's nothing on their planet, they'll create spaceships and fly off and go fight stuff.
Space Hulks.
Space Hulks. Well,
Just
they
a
have
giant rock with an engine
Well,
on it.
yeah. They have different ways. They have Space Hulks. They have like meteors.
Space rocks.
Yeah, literally asteroids that they attach engines to and fly around in, and but yeah, they eventually go on what's called a Waaagh, and a Waaagh is basically an army, a fighting army. It's a crusade essentially.
It's their version of
Yeah.
let's kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Waaagh has a lot behind it and a lot of different things, but it's one guy and he's grown so big as a knob now that now he's considered the warlord, and he just really forces his will on
Are we
everyone
going
else.
to touch on different, like, your orcs, your pain boys, your
Yeah, I
gods,
was planning on doing that right now.
Okay.
So really, as an orc, there are 4 different variations of an orc depending on your size and what you do. So there's war boss, Oddboyz, knobs, and boys. We'll start at the smallest. A regular orc is just a boy, right? And then as a boy, he can be a part of any clan.
Yeah.
Right? So you can have a Goth boy, Bad Moon boy, Blood X boy, any of those guys.
Yeah.
But a boy is he's just a meat shield. Well, not even a meat shield. He's just a regular guy.
Well, they're not only just boys. Like they also are like commandos come from there.
Okay, yeah.
or-
Oddboyz, Commandos, Tank Busters, Burna Boys, Ludas.
Yeah, it's really anything that doesn't require any amount of skill
Yeah.
to do. It's just you're fighting, but how you like to fight changes. Some
Exactly.
people like to be stealthy, they become a commando. Some people like to shoot tanks, so they pick up a big gun and they become tank busters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are boys. After that, once a boy fights enough and he keeps fighting, he gets stronger and bigger and tougher, he becomes what's called a knob. And a Nob basically will...
It's the ruling class.
Yeah, they're the elites. They'll basically keep a small section of boys under their control, and then they'll answer directly to the war boss. So
there's Mega Knobs, Flash Gits, Cyborgs, and Knob Bikers.
there's every type of knobs.
Yeah.
Because there's like knob commandos, like who will lead a knob who's chosen to lead a bunch of commandos.
And really the only difference between the knob and the boy is size and ability to enforce his will.
Yeah, so
Because
basically it's
any
the leader.
boy can become a knob.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, you start getting the really weird variances, and these are called the Oddboyz.
Yeah.
So within Oddboyz, you have Mech Boys, who are the orc mechanics and inventors, and they're also known as mechs or mechaniacs. Mechaniacs? I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Next.
There's Pain Boys, and those are the doctors and surgeons.
Yeah.
Or also known as docs or mad docs. And then there are Weird Boys,
Yeah.
which are the highly psychic orcs.
Yeah.
And then Runt Herds.
And they basically keep Orc Society at home going by like keeping
They're slave
Snotlings
masters.
and Gretchen in line.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the Runt Herds are the snake bites,
Probably. That could be a thing, yeah.
right? Because they like the traditional aspect of the orc society.
Yeah, yeah. They just like getting in the odd bar fight every night.
Right,
and
exactly.
growing fungus.
Right,
You know,
exactly. Like they have competition, like they have annual fungus competitions.
There's runt herds in like every. Like you can get runt herds in Goths.
Oh, absolutely. I was
You're
just
just saying-
I was just thinking it
I
fits
thought-
my idea
Yeah.
of how a snake bite works.
Yeah.
I see.
And then the last one is you have a war boss. And
Yeah.
a war boss is the biggest, baddest, meanest orc who enforces his
cunning.
will, on everything. And they're smart. They grow in intelligence as well as size.
Yeah.
So that is very important to recognize.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next part we're going to talk about is orc tech. Frank, don't look at me like that. We're going to talk about orc technology. Mark, please take it away on orc tech.
So orcs basically have two thoughts when it comes to technology. Well, the Imperium has two thoughts on orc technology.
Right.
Well, Games Workshop has two thoughts on orc technology.
And therefore we do.
Yes. There's a thought that their technology works, and there's a thought that they're
But very crappily.
very crappily, very
Shoddy.
scrapped together.
Right.
Surprising that it works, but it works.
Yes.
And thought two is that it doesn't work
At all.
at all. And the only reason that it works is because orcs are so highly psychic that they think that it works, therefore it works.
Right. Yeah.
So Games Workshop's never really clarified which one is true right now. It kind of jumps back and forth.
It all really has to do, so they'll find it doesn't work at all when humans use it.
Yeah.
And then there's an Inquisitor who, picks it up, and he claims that,
Yeah.
it can work with
Yeah.
him. But is that him who's using it, or is it his psychic, connection to the weapon, right?
Yeah, that could be the case
Right,
too.
so-
Are humans the only other race who have tried to use orc technology?
Well, would you ask an Eldar? Heresy,
No, I'm sure other ones like Tau. There's no way Tau haven't tried to They're very inquisitive and they like technology. You'd think that they would look into it at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't really hear much.
Yeah, there
Because it's
isn't.
So crude.
Yeah, so
crude.
maybe they wouldn't even bother. I don't go
Yeah.
around looking
But
at
it wouldn't- don't
rocks
you
thinking how they work.
Maybe this is a stretch, but I would be almost curious as someone who's super curious about technology. How does that piece of garbage even fly?
Yeah.
So
I gotta figure this out.
That would make for an interesting experiment from the Tau, as their ability to use the warp doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right, because
Yeah.
we haven't even done their episode yet, but they can't touch the warp,
Okay.
not nearly in the same way that anyone else can. They can skim
Yes.
it.
Well,
They skim it.
yes, they do. Yeah.
Tau can't use the warp.
They did all the warp.
What?
The wine is really getting to his head. Okay, so Mark's really right. There's the two theories. What makes it really cool though about orcs is their entire whole thing about being just a ramshackle, rampaging, no structure, whatever. It really plays a comical aspect in their tech here.
Yeah.
So when they're building vehicles, they will paint them different colors depending on how they want that vehicle to act.
Yeah. So they would paint it red if they want it to go faster.
And it legitimately
Goes
will go faster.
Just because the orcs have that psychic presence that if they believe something, all their minds kind of collectively believe, and it'll actually make it go faster. They'll actually affect real space with their thoughts.
That's really interesting. I wonder if like
That
A lot
sounded
of-
very mechanical.
It
I
did,
like,
like he had that prepared.
I like that.
No, I just
Like he turned around in his big chair and he's got a smoking jacket on at this point. That's very interesting.
Lights a cigar
Yeah,
to
exactly.
finish off the point.
Shut up, you guys! I quit. What's up?
Oh, actually, another friend of ours just walked in the room.
Yeah, come sit down.
He's the guy who made our music for our intro. So, yeah,
May as well say hello.
yeah, comes.
Yeah.
This is Rio. So you guys will eventually hear from Rio, and
But for now, he needs to sit down, shut up, and hold on. Okay, so you're saying it's interesting, Jordan.
Yeah. So, it's a like you would think like they have even their whole mythology and stuff could like religious beliefs and stuff like are true because they make them true.
So-
Yeah,
is there
yeah,
anything
absolutely.
like that?
A tulpa,
Yeah.
it's like a Buddhist thing where
Yeah.
they think that if they get enough monks to believe in something, they can bring it to reality.
Oh, interesting.
And that's that's us.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty crazy, actually. I don't want to get too
I don't-
derailed on this
Right.
topic, but yeah.
I mean,
I listen to a lot of like podcasts, and a lot of the ones I do listen to are like paranormal or like stuff like that, and they do
Yeah,
talk.
yeah.
And like, there's experiments where people have like created like actual stuff with tulpas and stuff.
Yeah.
If that can be confirmed.
Sure.
But
They had to have
so-
been orcs, clearly.
they had to have been
Clearly
orcs.
had
So,
to have been
yeah.
orcs.
It is not unreasonable to think that there is truth to that, and we're going to talk about Gork and Mork later,
Okay.
and that like they're deities, right? But the amount, like to bring something physically here, like to say, and Mark had a good example earlier where like a knob who like has his control over a little band of people, he's driving a vehicle and all of a sudden that vehicle runs out of gas and stops working. If all of a sudden he tells them like, no, I put gas in there, if all the other orcs believe it and he turns the key in the ignition again, it very well could start up with no gas because they believe there's gas in there, and so the car will work. So that's like a very real one, but like I can't imagine them actually materializing something, because
Yeah.
mostly because I don't know if their imaginations allow for that.
Yeah, like, so if you got a bunch of orcs and then they're standing behind a wall and the war boss is like, yeah, there's a stompa on the other side of that wall. And they're all like, yeah, awesome, stompa. And then they go behind the wall. There's not going to be a stompa behind the
But
the-
could you imagine if you had a big enough walk? Anyways, we'll get sidetracked on that.
Yeah,
later.
but like, I think going back to that gas example,
yeah.
like I think the way it more works is that you have to have one drop of gas in that tank, but that gas will now last 15 times longer. You know,
Sure.
they still have to have.
It has to be within the realm of possibility. I
Exactly,
don't know.
like-
With the warp, anything is possible.
Yeah, but they don't really draw from the warp though. Like
The
they're
Waaagh
not.
is psychic energy.
It is, but it's not quite the same as like how the human
Right, it's
how
not-
a human uses
It's not
the
like
warp.
us ripping holes in reality.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't think they could do that whole there's a stomp up behind the wall.
No,
Like
I-
I think is a little too extreme.
Yeah.
But
But you never know.
you never know. Yeah, it's
Right.
orcs.
They might just fully believe that that planet is destroyed and there goes the planet. With enough orcs.
Like, well, yeah, like that could be crazy.
Like, just, I don't know.
So there's this funny like orc conspiracy, and it's like orcs believe that the emperor is alive, and that's the only
That's the
reason.
only reason he's alive.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is amazing.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it. It's not the black ships. It's not the millions of souls that
no.
are fed to him on a daily
It's
basis.
that the orcs believe because they're like, oh, these humans worship this god emperor.
Yeah,
Therefore,
yeah.
there's a god emperor.
Yeah.
Like, so.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to question that
No,
anymore.
why would you have to? Even?
Yeah, it's answered. It's not the Golden Throne.
Yeah, so their technology can really be summed up as unpredictable,
Yes,
unreliable,
absolutely.
but when it works well.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah. because they believe it's devastating.
Yeah.
Because they love loud things. They love big explosions. They like stuff that goes fast.
Yeah.
They like lots of blood. They're like a child.
Yeah, very simple-minded and
Don't
focused.
Deny it, Frank. Deny it.
I don't know how many children who like loud, fast, gory.
You did it as a child?
Accurate. Okay, you got me there. Never mind.
I mean, it makes sense.
All
You
right.
play orcs.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but the main thing is just orc tech doesn't work unless you're an orc.
Unconfirmed, but sure.
Okay, but I want to get more into the tech later.
Yeah.
Because it all has to do with their connection to the psychic
Yeah,
energy.
it all
Okay.
ties together.
The next thing we're going to talk about is orcs and the warp.
Do we want to save that for the very end topic, actually? Because once again, it kind of all ties together with
Oh my
Gork
god.
and
It's not like we
Mork
went
and-
over this 5 minutes ago about what we wanted to talk about. But that's fine. It's fine. Okay, the next one. Famous orcs.
What do you mean 5 minutes ago? We've done this all in one recording.
Twilight Zone.
Oh, shit.
Famous orcs. Well, I get like the most current one would be Thraka.
Yeah. Gasco, Omega, Urk, Thraka.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, can you say that name one more time for me?
I don't think I can without stuttering.
Gazcool.
Mega
No,
I don't think
it's actually
Meg.
Meg Uruk.
Really?
Meg Uruk Thraka.
Thraka is
Yeah.
how I like to refer to him.
Yeah. Just in a sing-song voice. There's
Yes.
no other way to
I'm
really.
sure Thraka would not appreciate you saying his name like that.
Yes.
If ever you were to hear his opinion, I don't think it would matter what it is because you'd be dead.
Okay. Well, no. He likes some humans. He likes Commissar Yarrick.
Yes.
And
And what's his name? The guy
Wait,
with the two power
okay,
fists.
but how do you don't say
Guy with the
don't
two
say
pa-
McCraig. Don't say
yeah, because that would just be.
yeah. Say his name. Say his name.
The Ultramarine with two power fists.
What's his name?
He's talking about Calgar, but they've
Yeah.
never met or
McCraig.
fought each other.
McCraig is the planet he's from.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What makes Gazcool probably the coolest at the moment is that he claims to be receiving visions.
Yeah, from Gork and Mork.
Yeah.
He took a bolt round to the face.
Which should eat away all your flesh.
No, but instead of,
He just believed it didn't.
yeah,
So
he believed that it gave him a bigger, better brain. Therefore, he has a bigger, better brain.
that's not confirmed.
I love it.
Only speculation.
But yeah, he actually believes he receives visions from them.
Yeah.
Which kind of separates him from every other
So
orc.
does he not then, or he just believes?
How would you confirm it?
Ah,
Right?
Yeah.
Like he's big, and if the others believe him and he's big, nothing is gonna happen except he's gonna get bigger and he'll gain more influence.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then if he tells them stuff again and enough believe it, it could even be true in the end.
Yeah.
Like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It
Yeah.
could be, right?
Keep this number in mind. Mega Urk Thraka. Gazcool. Mega Urk Thraka. He's
Keep saying it.
I think he's 14 or 15 feet tall. So keep that number in mind. How
Oh,
big
yeah.
an orc can
Yeah, yeah.
actually get. Dun, dun,
Done.
dun.
Yeah, exactly. So 14 feet tall, and he's like the biggest war boss right now
Yeah. He definitely has the biggest following of orcs
in M41.
in M41.
Okay.
Yeah. He's known for invading Armageddon twice.
The Armageddon system.
Armageddon system, yeah.
Yeah.
And is it a system?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word on it.
I
I thought it was just a single planet.
no. It's like the Armageddon system. That doesn't mean there can't be the Armageddon planet though.
I guess like the capital planet would be
Right.
Armageddon. Okay. enough.
The next one we're going to talk about is I want to save this guy for last actually. So do you want to do
The arc anarchist of Caradon? Caradon? Caladon.
I can't even find that guy.
He's only cool. Well, he's cool because he's got like a huge empire or whatever. But the main reason he's cool is because apparently he's been killed multiple times, and he comes back to life.
Does he grow back or do they bionically fix him?
Or another war boss takes his place.
Assumes his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, and he likes fire. There's a reason why he's called the arc anarchist.
Arc anarchist. And then another one you wanted to mention was the Overfiend of Octarius.
Yeah, and he just has another big empire, and then that's actually a title
Yes.
where it's confirmed that it's multiple war bosses that rule this empire.
Right.
And then
Yeah, and
there's-
apparently that empire is almost as large as Ultramar.
Okay, that's so Ultramar, McCraig, whatever. It's 500 worlds big.
Yeah,
So,
and so that's a huge orc empire.
yeah, that would be actually. That would be multiple star systems.
Yeah. So there's that. Anything else you wanted to mention?
I thought there was one more that I thought of that was neat.
The demon killer.
Oh yeah, Tuska, the demon killer. So this orc, it's usually most orc players' favorite orc.
Unless you're Frank and all you care about is
Texting his wife and looking at. Oh, he's actually
I'm
the
actually
third.
reading about Thraka, so how about you back off there, Mark?
Oh boy, we're past Thraka. We're on
I know,
we're on Tuska now.
We passed it so fast. There's so much to him.
Yeah, we will have to do like maybe an actual like orc character in-depth episode.
Oh, Thraka's sweet.
Yeah, because like he's cool. He actually has like a couple books on him, and yeah. But yeah, Tuska, he took his Waaagh and he flew into the Eye of Terror
Because he wanted to fight demons.
because he specifically wanted to fight demons.
Yeah.
So he lands on this planet.
A flesh planet. That's what it says.
Yes, yeah.
A flesh planet?
Yeah, because it's in the warp, so it's like
Oh,
nothing's really there, but
Right.
and it's in like a warp rift, so things are kind of material and immaterial all at the same time.
It's the crashing of the two planes.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of Khorne demons on this planet, and they get into this huge scrap, and they fight for a day, but eventually all the orcs die. Or no, actually, no. He kills all the demons on that planet, and then he kills the planet itself, I believe. Or something like
Planet
that.
like a creature almost.
Sorry, am I misremembering this?
I don't know if he kills a planet, but like there's planets get destroyed all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
But-
and even in the warp, weirder things happen.
Yeah.
Right? So
The key to take away from it though is Khorne liked like this bloodshed so much, like the violence and the havoc that these orcs caused, is that when they all died on that planet, every day he revives them, he resurrects all the orcs and all the demons, and they fight the same battle over and over
Really?
every day for eternity. And the orcs love it because it's like a non-stop battle against.
Do they win?
Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but either way, at the end of the day, everyone is back to life and they just fight again.
Jeez.
So-
Who is that? That's
Tuska.
Tuska, the demon killer.
Yeah.
wow.
And he was aided by many weird boys.
You would probably have to if you're going into the Eye of Terror.
Yeah, exactly. And
Terror.
so he managed to bypass the defenses around Cadia. And that's how he makes it into the Eye of Terror. But it's pretty crazy.
Madness.
That's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
All right. And then the very last one, no, not the very last one, but the last one we're going to talk about.
Yeah, there's quite a few even.
There are a lot.
Anyways,
The Beast.
the beast.
Beast. I fought the Beast on the mountain. I fought the Beast in the supermarket. He knows what I'm talking
A
about.
couple people will get that reference.
So the Beast, it's M32 is his time frame. So that's 2,000 years after the Emperor disappears from galactic play.
Yeah.
And he took like the orcs on the largest Waaagh that's ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the closest orc to ever unifying all the orcs in the galaxy.
Yeah, which is a scary thought.
Which is scary, because it says if in the unlikely event that the orcs ever do unite, it's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Because when they're channeled and focused at one thing instead of each other,
Yeah.
how do you stop?
Yeah. And they're already like the most populous race in the galaxy.
right, purely because of how they spread.
Yeah.
Right, because it takes like a cleansing to really get rid of an infestation of orcs.
Yeah.
So this beast, there wasn't actually just one war boss called the Beast. There were 6 what they called prime orcs. That
We came up for a name for them. It was like, Frankie was like, are they Primarchs? Like orc Primarchs? So what do we call them?
I don't remember.
Didn't we just call them Primorks or something?
Yeah,
What was it?
It's
was
not a
some
big
play
stretch
on
to go
words.
from Primarch to Prime Orc.
Was it that simple?
I think it was
No,
that
because they
simple.
call it Prime Orc.
Oh, okay. What?
Yeah, they
I thought we
literally
had
say
such a
no.
good name.
No. Collection of 6 prime orcs.
I love it.
Never mind.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
What's interesting about these
Was
orcs...
there one particular one, though, that led the other 6?
It sounds like it was a team.
Weird.
Right? But what's interesting is that they were noticed for being very intelligent. Like, these could speak Gothic flawlessly.
High Gothic.
Yeah. Like, that's impressive for an orc.
Yeah, that's like Adeptus Astronomicon.
Yeah,
Adeptus
that's like
Astartes,
high.
as opposed to saying Space Marines. It's like they got their high and their low.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like most people in the Imperium cannot speak High Gothic. So then for an orc to speak it shows great intelligence.
Yeah. So the first one that they finally encountered, it was on Ulanor. Surprise, surprise, every single major event in orc history happens on Ulanor.
Apparently, which
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's kind of odd, but we'll see where they're taking the storyline. It could be neat.
Yeah.
Like if it actually is like their home planet.
The orc.
Or like a proving ground or something?
I don't know about a proving ground, because like what do the orcs really care that
No,
much
it
about
doesn't-
they'll
like-
prove themselves anywhere.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
no such thing as like a right of manhood for an orc, right?
Yeah, but like if it's their home planet, like that's where the first one started.
It makes
I could
more
get
sense
behind that.
why they care so much about it.
Yeah.
Because there's some kind of... Or if there's like a secret about the orcs there, that's kind of ingrained in their DNA of like why we need this planet back. Or maybe there's something about it that's like crucial to their survival. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing there, but there should be a reason why they keep going back.
I think, yeah, Games Workshop definitely will. And I think it is pretty much that it's their home planet. I could be wrong.
Seems kind of dumb to me for an orc. They're not very sentimental. Like, why would they care about one? Anyways.
Yeah.
So when they finally meet this beast guy, they thought he was a 10-meter statue. Like, they thought he was a statue. He was so big. So, Gasgul Thraka, we said before, 14 to 15 feet.
Which is like 4.5 meters.
Yeah. The beast, 10 meters, around 30 feet.
Think about that.
That's bigger than buildings.
Yeah. I just got
How
this.
big is a Stompa?
I don't know actually off the
I
top of
will
my head.
find out.
I know an Imperial Knight.
Okay, of course he goes back to the Imperial Knight.
When you spend as much money on Imperial Knights as I have,
Okay.
You know a lot
two
about him.
would want to talk about it. They're like 40 feet tall. So just imagine this awesome like fight between between
A knight.
a knight and the beast.
Like a one-on-one battle between one of these massive Mechanicum machines.
Yeah, and just imagine being like a guardsman watching that. That'd be wild.
His one of the other so they thought it was a 10-meter high statue, and when
Yeah.
he moved, that was when they realized he was a massive orc encased in battle armor.
Yeah.
And then one of the other ones that they finally they encountered, he was the size of a small gargant or gargant.
Gargant, yeah.
Gargant. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's like a big squig dinosaur looking creature.
okay.
Most people will know what it looks like.
A single arm of his battle armor was equipped with 2 battle cannons, autocannons, missile launchers, flamers, and other weapons. And then his other hand, he wielded a vibromace as tall as a space marine. Like a mace as big as a space marine. Like, they are massive. So, and what, like, the whole thing about a Waaagh is a Waaagh helps orcs determine who's the biggest.
Yeah.
Right? They just intrinsically know, like, when a Waaagh starts, everyone knows who the biggest orc is, and they follow that orc.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not hard.
Because it's funny, like, people think, like, orcs are very chaotic and stuff, but they're actually very, like, structured. Like, they do have a very specific hierarchy. They know which one's the biggest.
Within the Waaagh.
Within the Waaagh, like, they're actually very organized, really, if you think about it.
It's like organized chaos, really.
I think like they're like I'll say this with a grain of salt, but they're kind of the most simple kind of race. So in some ways, it's like easy for them to organize really quickly.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to go through all these channels or whatever.
There's not
you
like
just-
red tape. It's like you say, they know who the biggest guy is, and that's the leader.
Yeah.
Like just de facto. There's no.
Yeah. if you want to challenge him, you can
Yeah.
go challenge him.
Yeah.
And if you beat him, you're the leader. But if you
Yeah.
don't, you're dead.
It's like a very simple way of doing it, but it makes you efficient at doing things because your machines are pretty crude. So
Do we want to talk any more about the beast? I think we could wait and save it for.
Yeah, there's an entire battle with the beast
Oh,
on the moon of Terra with Vulcan.
Yeah, so there's a 12-book series on the beast.
Yeah.
So
the beast is the name of the orc as well as the Waaagh.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Okay, sure.
So, because we're going to do that episode later.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to talk about, the whole beast Waaagh, because that's a huge turning point.
Yeah, it does really change the Imperium drastically in the way it works. So.
But he's 100%, the most badass that's ever existed. All 6. I don't know, it's weird, because they refer to him as one, but there's definitely 6 different ones.
Huh.
That's why I asked. Was there one potentially leading the rest of them? And they were his knobs, but they were also as big as war bosses. That'd be pretty cool.
Not that it says. It literally just says, in truth, there's not a single war boss known as the Beast. Rather, they were a collection of 6 prime orcs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out more, and we'll actually do our research on that when we come to that episode.
Yes.
This is just a brief overview. The only other orc we're going to mention is the orc that almost killed the Emperor.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't have a name as far as I'm aware.
The beast?
No, that's 2,000 years later. But basically, he gets the Emperor and almost kills the Emperor, except Horus steps in and saves the Emperor.
It's if Horus wasn't there.
Debatable.
Yeah, the debate is, could the Empire have been halted right there?
No, that's not a question.
Debatable.
The question is, did the Emperor let Horus save him to build their bond further and to solidify Horus's rule as War Master? Or the Emperor could have just psychically blown his head off, or the Emperor could have.
That's an interesting
did the orc
question.
almost kill the Emperor?
Okay, so there are literally psychers that can blow up Warlord Titans by their thought,
Okay. Yes.
and
absolutely
they are nowhere near as powerful as the Emperor.
right. Agreed.
The Emperor could blow up planets if he wanted to.
Are you hurt that your
Okay,
god
but here's
is on?
here's the thing. Here's the thing about that
Okay.
is that no one is protecting that planet psychically. No one is opposing you psychically. But when you have a Waaagh,
Yeah.
we literally just said
Yeah.
that if the orcs banded together under one Waaagh, the amount of energy created by that Waaagh makes them unstoppable. And the word used is unstoppable by anyone. So if you had a powerful enough Waaagh with enough energies,
Yeah.
right, and if enough of them
Okay.
believed that their leader was immortal,
Okay, I'll let you go.
right?
Counterpoint, though. We've already stated that the Beast was the biggest Waaagh, and now it's destroyed by the Imperium.
And yet it wasn't a complete Waaagh of everyone. He couldn't unify everyone.
And
He was the closest.
And Ulanor, where
Yeah.
the battle where the Emperor fought the Orc, was just one planet. It wasn't some huge Waaagh.
Right. It's a good point.
Honestly,
Okay, and then the question arises,
What?
why doesn't that happen all the time?
why would the Emperor need to do that all the time? Do what? Sorry, what are we talking?
Why wouldn't he just go in front of all his enemies and just blood washes as all their heads just melt?
Because he's got better things to do.
False. Because
with
he
the
can't.
web
There's
way.
limits. There's limits.
Yeah, no, there are limits,
'Cause
but
the more
there's no
power-
way that he cannot just blow up one orc.
I don't know, though.
Okay, so once
What if
again,
that orc is
a super psychic orc or super
Yeah.
psychic
But it's not about that. It's about the Waaagh power behind
Mm-hmm.
him. So if the Waaagh,
it's derailed.
if the Waaagh power behind that orc is powerful enough, I believe the Waaagh power could trump the Emperor's power.
Sure.
If there's enough. It would never happen.
Sure.
But I don't think it's as easy as the Emperor just wishing it. He still has to push through that psychic barrier.
Yeah.
Because if enough of them believe that their leader is unstoppable and unkillable, doesn't that kind of make him immortal?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it kind of does.
And the
But-
amount of energy required to do that would be insane.
Yeah.
But it's
I know.
food for thought. Food
I
for
know
thought.
what you're
theoretically
saying.
possible?
Right.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. There's obviously a cap because there's a limit to how many orcs are in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna
So-
talk more about
So orcs are a big threat.
Oh, huge, massive.
An orc almost kills the emperor.
Yeah. Don't air quote. An orc almost kills the emperor. Horus steps in, and Horus saves the emperor's life.
And then another big threat is M32 with the beast.
Yeah.
And like, that's probably the biggest threat.
How was that stopped, or is that going to be touched on?
We'll
in
talk about
another
that.
episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it for our main topics.
Yeah. So that's the orcs. They love to fight, and
Yellow is explosive, red goes fast, purple sneaks.
blue is lucky.
Blue is lucky. These are paints for their technology.
White is the color of death because when you're dead, your bones show, and you're
okay.
white. And then black was something. I forget what it is, but black something.
Okay. So that kind of ends like the lore version. We kind of got a little off topic about that. But now we'll enter like our question period or whatever, our debate topic for the day. What'd you find?
Green is the best because
Because orcs are green.
yeah, so they're all the best.
Yeah.
And black is dead hard,
What does that mean?
like dead hard.
Like
Oh, like,
super
it's
like
harder.
defensive.
You're-
Yeah.
Okay.
No, like yeah, super defensive, but like just like that guy's fucking hard. You know, like, that guy's hardcore. You know what I mean? Like that,
Can you explain again why purple?
Purple. Yeah, I was
is-
about
that's
to
my
ask this
favorite
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
The theory behind purple.
have you?
Okay, so
ever
no,
seen-
purple is for stealth.
Yeah.
And the reason it is
Have you ever seen a purple orc?
I love it.
So good.
okay. Let's get into our food for thought area. Okay. Gork and Mork.
Yeah.
What are they? So they are the gods, but where do they come from? What do they do? How are they sustained? Where do they get their power from? Do they even exist?
Yeah. So I kind of like to think that they actually are like a chaos god. They are like actually a warp beings plural because there's two of them. And
A double-headed orc, that's what I think.
yeah, and that like if you think about a
that's
double-headed
hilarious.
orc,
That's
there's like old school 40K pictures of them like wrestling over a mountain. So it's two, but it is kind of cool like because they're so similar.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
Yeah. But I like to think that they're a chaos god and that like all the orcs, all their psychic potential make these chaos gods. You did that.
Well, kind of. Like, I'm with you on the fact that they exist because the orcs believe they exist, but orcs don't access the warp the same way everyone else does, which we touched on a little earlier.
Yeah. But
Because the Waaagh, like, the psychic energy made by a Waaagh it's not really, like, warp energy.
yeah, and like they don't really draw from the warp.
It's literally just the psychic energy that they pool together does it.
Yeah. The orcs and their psychic, it needs to be expanded on a little bit more by Games Workshop, I think. Or it doesn't.
Yeah,
because
or they're
it's
leaving
orcs.
it because it's orcs and no
Yeah.
one really knows.
Yeah, or that, but
But Gork and Mork, I really agree with you there on the fact that because the orcs believe in them,
yeah,
it gives them power.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the whole Tulpa thing,
yeah.
right?
And if all the other chaos gods have like Khorne is bloodshed, Cheech is change, like Gork and Mork is just be you. You know, right? Like, because like, every orc
Just be yourself.
just be yourself. Which all orcs are like, okay, let's go fight.
yeah.
You know, like
This is who I am.
yeah, like
Thank you, Gork. And then the other one's like, no, that's for Mork. And then they get into a fight over it.
yeah, and everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
The Gork and Mork become stronger.
I like to think that another thing I like to think of is that they're actually real orcs.
Yeah, that could be a case too.
Like,
Like
I
they were
like-
just like the first orcs and they
Yeah.
were brothers and they
Exactly.
you know.
So I like to think that there's these two orcs,
Yeah.
like on a planet, in the middle of nowhere, and like their lives have been sustained unnaturally long since the beginning of the Krork, or since the beginning of Gork and Mork, because all the other orcs believe in them.
So like so let's just say for fun
Yeah.
that they were on a planet rotation around the sun. It lost its rotation, got flung off into space and is
Sure.
now lost. But
There's these 2 orcs on it.
yeah, and there's just the 2, and neither of them are dying, and so
No.
no more orcs are growing, or
Yeah,
and
like
they're just
they're
flung across
like
space.
the people believe they're gods, and gods don't reproduce the same way people do, right?
Yeah.
So they stop making spores because the rest of the orcs in the entire galaxy believe that they don't reproduce.
Yeah. And they just
And
are
so they
flung
just-
across the galaxy.
Yeah, and they just fight.
Just the 2 of them, and they're just fighting.
Every once in a
continually.
while, they have like I like to see them like I like to picture it like they have like philosophical debates over fire, but it like degrades after 2 minutes, and then they just start beating the crap out of each other.
One's like, fire's red. The other's like, no, fire is yellow. Boom, fist fight.
Exactly. But like the whole reason that they're still alive is because people believe that they're alive, and it
Yeah.
would be cool if at some point like someone made contact with these orcs because they would be hella powerful.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and like since they've been fighting since the beginning of time,
Millennia.
they're like I said, there's a picture of them fighting over top of mountains. So they're literally like 500-foot tall
Right.
orcs.
Like they
Yeah,
they would
okay.
be the ultimate orcs,
That'd be pretty wild.
but like they're
actually.
real orcs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They've just been made into gods. but
Exactly,
That's cool.
because
Okay, that's my new theory.
It's the ultimate Waaagh.
Yeah.
Could they
Right.
kill the emperor?
No.
Well, I mean,
No one can kill the emperor because all the
Debate.
orcs believe that the emperor's alive.
I actually want to touch on that, but so that's my like kind of fun theory of Gork and Mork.
What I love about the orcs is they're just like this like they're just in the background, but they actually have so much value to the 40K universe, but like no one really realizes, like the orcs don't realize how big a role they play.
Well, they lack vision.
Yeah, and so it's just like, but like, you know, like all these like orc conspiracies and stuff like that. It's just like, it's just there because orcs say it's there, you know.
Right.
And like you can always
But it
result to
works,
that, but
exactly.
it's like
Yeah.
it's an actual argument
That
can be
works
made.
on every level, and that's what makes them so fun
Yeah,
to talk about.
they're
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to input on Gork and Mork? You looked like you had something to say, Frank.
I did.
Let's go around the room.
Are they like it's unconfirmed that they do exist, right? Because when you get someone like Thraka,
Yeah.
who says he gets visions from them, right? I mean, that even is unconfirmed that he gets actual visions from them.
He
correct?
claims. He
Yeah.
claims. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's
because other orcs.
part of you questions whether or not they exist, right? Like, and I'm kind of there too. Like, do they really exist? Like, do they actually have power?
I'm gonna start spreading the propaganda that they're floating around on a planet. That's
I
my.
like it.
Oh yeah, no, that's it. From now on,
Yeah.
that's when people ask me. That's what they are to me. I like it.
Yeah, I really think like, I don't think Games Workshop will ever really say. I don't think they would bring the orcs into play, like the Gork and Mork ever into play. They don't need to.
No, they don't need to.
Yeah,
Like,
it's better when it's unconfirmed.
yeah, it's not like Space Marines where it's like bring back the Primarchs because there's nothing like the Primarchs. Like
Right.
you have 30-foot tall orcs running around. Do you really
Yeah,
need
yeah.
anything more?
Like, and if your Waaagh is big enough, you can get bigger. So like, do you really need Gork and Mork, or like, are they just 2 regular orcs who've ascended to godhood? Who
Yeah.
knows? So, anyways, the next question I'm gonna ask is, and I really like the potential on this one is, can a Waaagh be hijacked? Okay, so hear me out.
yeah, expand the thought further.
So, a Waaagh is like it has 4 different definitions, and we'll go over this. I know we briefly touched on Waaghs, but number 1 is it's a war cry.
Yeah.
Literally, an orc just cries Waaagh as it runs into battle.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is it's a group of orcs. It's just called a Waaagh.
Yeah.
Like you have a flock of geese or a murder of crows. You have a Waaagh of orcs. Okay. I'm serious. Okay.
Yeah.
The third one is when a war boss goes on a crusade, it is called a Waaagh.
Yeah.
That's like their name for it. And then the fourth one, and the one I really want to touch on, is a Waaagh is the psychic field generated by all the war orcs who are participating in a Waaagh. So their belief is what makes the psychic Waaagh. Okay? And the Waaagh instantly puts who's the greatest.
Yeah.
Right? So there's 5 of us in this room. If all of a sudden, boom, we start a Waaagh, clearly Jordan is the biggest.
Clearly. Excuse me.
I knew you wouldn't enjoy that one.
Excuse me.
But he is not the strongest.
Yeah, that would be real.
But I am the sexiest.
Orcs do not
Orcs
value
do not
Yeah,
care
they
about
don't care
that,
about
Jordan.
that. Do you remember the guy who danced for the orcs? I kind of want to say that. We'll talk about that later.
Oh god. Oh my god.
So in this Waaagh, like when a Waaagh happens, you
Wait, we didn't determine who's the war boss yet.
yeah.
Do
Obviously,
we all
me.
do arm wrestles?
No.
Okay, so we
it's
took a quick
Waaagh.
5-minute break and we all did arm wrestles and I won.
It's a Waaagh. You're instantly supposed to know.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So we're not orcs, that is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Whew.
But if we were,
We would know.
we would know
For
exactly
sure,
in this
without a
room,
doubt,
it was Jordan.
that it
We
was
would
me.
know.
We already arm wrestled.
Debatable.
Debatable! I call shenanigans!
I want to talk about the Waaghs.
Okay, sorry, let's go.
Okay, so you instantly know who the strongest and baddest is. You know who the leader is. You don't even fight over it. You just know.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Waaagh gets bigger and bigger, and if you join with someone else who all of a sudden is bigger, he is instantly the leader of the Waaagh. And the Waaagh gains power, and it gains momentum, and you can grow under the Waaagh, but and there's still you can rise up and become
Doesn't
a
that
leader.
happen all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know exactly who it is. You have to challenge.
So what's the question about it being hijacked?
No, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, so that is a key point, though. You still have to challenge it.
Yes, you have to
you still
challenge
have
the
to
leader.
beat the leader.
But you know who it is.
You do know who the leader is, then you beat the leader, then everyone knows now you're
You're the
leader.
strongest.
But you
because
still
you're
have
the
to beat
biggest.
that leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Ork A is really big, his name is Goku. Okay.
Goku.
Goku. Sure. No,
You meant
that's
Goku.
trademarked. His name is Goku. No, the orc is super big. He's the leader. He gets punched down by another orc. That orc is now the leader of the Waaagh. It's unquestionable, right?
Okay.
He's the leader of the Waaagh. He picks it. What happens if someone else who is in tune psychically with what's happening on the orc level goes and beats the crap out of that guy? Can he now, as the strongest and the biggest, because orcs would now see he's the most powerful,
Yeah.
can he take control of the Waaagh?
in terms of
I'm talking about a
human
non-orc.
psyker?
A non-orc.
No way. No,
Okay,
because
hear me out. It all has to do with perception.
but he's not an orc. And orcs know that that person is not an orc.
What if he can fool them psychically? They can project images of themselves.
Sir Barrington is what you're saying.
Sir Barrington! Exactly.
No, because
So I honestly think that, and orcs are simple,
yeah,
right? We've determined that they don't have a lot of intelligence. I do think that they have some protection sure in place of this, but I really think that there is a psyker out there powerful enough to fool enough orcs to claim control of a Waaagh.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't buy it. Because he's not an orc. And I feel like orcs are even though they're not the brightest, they still they don't know how smart they are type deal, and they don't know how much psychic ability they have. And even once you take into account weird boys who would oh, it's arouse, and then
Sorry, a what?
sorry?
A ruse?
Sorry?
A ruse?
Please repeat.
A rouse?
Are you-
The weird boys are aroused.
It's all that psychically charged energy.
Had to get out somehow.
Oh. So, okay.
And so, personally, I think they would know that it's not an orc.
So,
Just because, we went back to, the orcs know which one is the biggest and strongest. So they would know that you're not an orc.
so you talked before about how the Emperor could melt an orc's brain.
Yeah.
That's power.
Yeah.
Could he not fool an orc into thinking he's an orc?
An entire Waaagh.
He's the Emperor. He literally just said he could destroy a planet if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So what's the power level difference?
I like to believe that Gork and Mork would reveal to them the
Go-
ruse that's being
the rouse.
sorry, the rouse that's being
Okay,
So Goku's power level 9,000,
Yes, it's over 9,000.
right? No,
definitely.
the Emperor is over 9,000.
sorry.
So therefore he could. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay. Because it's all gonna have to do with the ability to fool an orc,
Yeah, and there's
which I don't think would be very hard.
There's an assassin that the Imperium uses called the Calexis Assassin, and they're usually female.
Yeah.
And they're literally shapeshifters, and they take a drug called the polymorph, and they can literally turn into different things. And I'm pretty sure one of them did turn into an orc and infiltrate an orc place.
That's
But
different than
that is-
hijacking a
Oh,
Waaagh.
but if,
Yes,
if in
so-
that moment that she was an orc
Yeah.
and she defeated the leader of the Waaagh, would she now be the leader of the Waaagh?
Right? And if you tossed in, like, if a Psychrid that did it, use that polymorph. I still agree with Frankie. Like, I don't think it's possible, but it is an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Like, because it just...
Could you-
We've talked about how, like, the warp and orc psychic powers kind of come from, like...
Their beliefs.
Yeah, they're not like psychic powers that humans use and psychic powers
they're
that
not the same.
they're not really the same. They don't really come from the same place entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that a psyker could put out that same field seems unlikely.
It's not put out the same field, because I don't think a Psyker could, but I do think a Psyker could hoodwink the orcs
Now,
into making them think he is an orc.
what if...
And
Okay,
but then
Yeah.
he would have to beat the orc, and then the Waaagh would just transfer to him.
Now, what if...
Yeah.
What if...
Okay, so go with me now. Imagine what happens
Uh-huh.
when Roboot Gilliman
Oh boy.
takes over a Waaagh.
Heresy happens.
Right, obviously it's heresy, and now the Inquisition's involved.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if a humanity were able to channel a Waaagh.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty wild. Well, there's only one way to find
There's
out.
only one way.
We gotta wait 38,000 No.
Yeah.
No, just 30,000. Then human psychers emerge.
Right, yeah,
and
yeah.
then we're good.
Now, what if...
Then we're good.
What if...
No, isn't that like M16?
Oh yeah.
What if
No,
a
I think it's
single
like
orc-
M25, but
What if a single orc begins to question it,
Yeah.
and then...
Well, you'd have to convince enough people, right?
Yeah, but, like...
and he would still have to challenge. Like, okay, so let's say that
Let's say he hoodwinks them.
he does hoodwink him.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one orc is suspicious. He would still have to then challenge the new war boss and defeat the new war
Right.
boss by himself.
Right.
But, like, what if somehow that one orc spread disbelief amongst
Oh, totally,
other orcs?
totally possible. The
then-
question isn't whether like how long the orcs are going to believe it. The question is
Would they believe it?
possible?
Let's take a vote around the room.
I think not possible. Orcs only believe in orcs. Orcs is not orcs.
I think
I'm gonna. Oh,
I think psychically,
we know where you stand.
yeah,
You're fully
clearly,
for it.
clearly.
I'm gonna say no.
I think psychically orcs can be fooled enough to believe that something is not an orc. That is an orc. Sorry, wait, hold on. I said that wrong. I think orcs could be fooled psychically to believe I am an orc even though I'm not an orc.
Okay, Jordan.
Jordan is drunk.
No.
Oh, God,
Where are your pants?
what are you talking about, God? No,
With me.
yeah, I gotta say, like,
Eric's, the table is divided.
Eric's
Good thing we
theory
got a
seems
fifth.
plausible.
Yeah, I'm not asking whether or not like it's gonna turn the tide. I'm saying,
Yeah.
Okay.
do you think it's possible?
We need a 10th man.
No, we got Rio here still. Rio, you were listening well enough.
Rio doesn't even like orcs.
Rio
Rio
says
thinks
you-
orcs are the dumbest.
Yay
in
or
the
nay?
universe.
Yay or nay?
Yes.
Ah,
yes.
There you have it, 3-2.
Yes.
So I finally
Now,
found.
Eric, you have to cut off a toe.
I
I
finally
didn't
found.
know this was a democracy.
I finally found something that the emperor can't do.
Get off his throne.
I hope the Emperor doesn't strike you down with lightning.
He's not at that stage in his life yet because we're only in M2.
Yeah.
If
He's
I
still-
made that
he's still a
joke,
guide.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have one more question, and I honestly don't even know where I stand on this one.
Okay.
Can an orc be demon possessed?
So
I have no idea.
I know,
I
right?
wouldn't-
Like I started filtering my brain for like, what do I think? And I was like, no, only humans can be demon possessed. And then I literally remembered Shaniganeth,
yeah.
who
M.
possessed an
Night
Eldar.
Shyamalan,
M.
yeah.
Night Shyamalan, yeah, possessed the Eldar. So like, well, no, demonic possession can happen with anything that touches the warp.
Yeah.
Literally
Can
anything.
Nids be like?
Do
demonized?
they have a connection to the warp?
I don't know.
Neither do I. We haven't done our Nid episode yet.
Ah.
No, they don't have
Well.
a connection.
So okay, so the question is, can orcs be demon possessed?
Okay, so here is what I think. So, to be demon possessed, you have to like have a crack in your spirit or your character or whatever.
Okay.
Like, like a paladin is not going to get possessed, right? Until he becomes like he gets at his crack in his armor, his
mental armor,
exactly, and then
and his real armor,
armor
that the blood can't seal.
I love it.
So humans can be possessed because we have desires, we have emotions, we have all these things that we have all these things, right?
Sure.
Orcs only live for one thing, to fight. None of them do anything except fight. None of them want to do anything except fight. So then to have that crack in their
desire.
Yeah, exactly. To have that crack in their armor seems like it wouldn't happen because they have nothing to gain from like opening themselves up. They also have no accidental opening because all they do is fight and all they want to do is fight.
I know where you're getting this from, and I would agree with you
if I wasn't wrong.
Right, if you weren't batshit crazy. And the reason I disagree is because orcs love power.
Yeah.
And that is a chink. Like, Khorne will use that in a heartbeat. Every bloodletter will be like, I can give you strength.
But...
Can you please make that face again as you say strength?
Same as his O
and
face.
literally turn into...
Strength!
You've seen it?
I've been on the receiving end, yes.
Okay, so go on. Why can't Khorne use an orc? Why can't a bloodletter tempt an orc with power?
Okay, because they can't really give him power, though. Like...
Why not?
I don't know. Okay.
I
just think like
I don't think orcs can be demonically possessed, but I think it has more to do with that. I don't see a connection to the warp. I really don't. Like, their psychic energy, it says that, so the weird boys are like their version of psychers, right?
Yeah.
Their energy is drawn from a Waaagh. It's not drawn from the warp.
I like to, yeah.
So I really think that.
But like, it's the Waaagh not like warp energy?
I know, but it doesn't say.
Yeah.
So when I think about that, and like the warp has been a science for us, for the Imperium, right, for years.
Yeah.
Right, it's a science.
Yeah.
And if we still have no proof that an orc Waaagh is from the warp and not something else, how, like, is it? Like, we just don't know at that point.
Yeah.
Right? And orcs would be tough to...
They would be incredibly tough to tell.
Right.
But
that my more thought on why they are not demon-possessed is just because they don't have the connection. Not because they're, like, such stalwart character. Because, like, I don't... Like, their lust... their lust for battle and lust to be like the biggest and the strongest, that's a Slaanesh one, right? Their need to constantly like change their leadership and who's going, that's a Tzeentch one, right? The death that they spread everywhere, there's a Nurgle one. I honestly think that they would appeal to the Chaos Gods. We already know that Khorne loves them.
Yeah.
Right?
I genuinely think, because you said like, as far as, they need a character to corrupt, because you said they need like character to corrupt, right?
Mark said that.
You said that just now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, I genuinely don't think they have, like, almost kind of along the same lines of what Mark was thinking, that they don't necessarily have character to corrupt.
I dislike that because it kind of makes them slaves. Like, a robot has no character to corrupt. A Necron can never be demonically possessed. It has no soul.
Sure.
When you remove a character's ability to make choices, like an orc, you're saying an orc has no character, it has nothing beyond it, then it's nothing than a slave driven by nothing other than its DNA, which it kind of is.
Isn't that exactly what it is? It's just a fungus that is told to spread across the galaxy.
Necron are all the same, right?
Yeah.
They're copies. There's nothing different about them. An orc
has a little bit of
personality. Have personality.
Yeah.
And personality would mean that they can make different choices from each other,
Yeah.
and those choices can be exploited by Tzeentch, right? Tzeentch could never find a crack in a Necron's armor because they do the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
My question is like, well, like, why hasn't it been attempted, or why hasn't it?
That's what makes me think it's not possible. The question I have more is, why isn't it possible? Because like I don't see, like, and it could be I'm just missing something, but I don't see demonic possession in an orc.
No, I don't see it happening either.
Yeah.
Well, also, no, never mind.
Well,
I was gonna bring up Tuska.
Yeah.
And be like, maybe he's like a chaos orc prince because he's constantly being resurrected and stuff. Like, he's gone beyond being an orc. You know what I mean?
I guess
But
I guess it depends on how he's resurrected. Because if all Korn is doing is reversing time,
exactly,
that's different than demonically possession.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of why I dropped it. But
good call. But no, it's good for thought.
What if it's not even useful to the chaos gods for
Yeah.
to be possessed? Because they're already destructive.
Not all chaos gods care. So
you wanna repeat that question? Just
Rio, he's not by a mic and he's just being a little guy here, but he asked the question, what if it's not useful to a chaos god to possess an orc? I disagree, because who's Korn's enemy?
Slaanesh.
And Slaanesh would use every tool he can to fight Korn. And if Slaanesh if Slaanesh could manipulate the orc's desire to be the best fighter, he will possess an orc. If it hurts Korn, absolutely.
Yeah.
So because they fight against each other too, right? So it will always be beneficial to get demonic forces out of the warp and into the materium.
What about this?
It will always be useful. Anyways, okay.
What about this?
Okay.
The orcs don't even know what chaos is. Like, so they see demons and stuff. They don't understand that they're demons. Like, they think it's just another alien race. They think when they go into the warp, they're just
called demons.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
so
humans,
therefore,
there's
like,
Eldar, there's demons.
There's no chance to get possessed by something because they have no idea that they can possess people. They just don't know.
They believe
that it's just another alien race,
and they believe they have
their mind is impenetrable,
and they just don't even care.
Power.
Yeah, and they just don't. Literally,
therefore it has no power.
You would think that would make like that, if that were true.
Yeah. That
would literally make the orcs, if they knew it, the most powerful entity.
Which is the joke on orcs.
Isn't that what essentially they are?
That's
Aren't
a good
they
point.
said to be the most powerful?
The simplest answers work best with orcs.
Yeah.
They don't know that demons can possess people, so they don't, in their mind, it's not possible.
Yeah. So therefore they
can't be possessed. And it is a simplified answer, but honestly, every single time I think about orcs, simple is best.
Yeah.
I love it.
Think what an orc thinks, and then
yeah. Orc just thinks guy to fight. He doesn't think, oh, I'm worried for my brain and my soul.
Yeah, my immortal well-being. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, give me that blood.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we've come to the conclusion that Gork and Mork are just flying around on the planet, fighting each other
for millennia.
For
thousands and hundreds of thousands of years.
And orcs cannot be possessed because they don't think they can be possessed.
They don't know about it.
They don't know.
No one's ever told them.
No one ever told them that their soul is in peril. Therefore,
they need the Emperor. They need his protection. Okay. Anything else want to add before we shut her down?
No.
I think we're good.
Yeah. Frankie, thanks for joining us.
Frank was our orc player, so thank you for joining us, Frank. It's really fun. We'll get you back in some other time. I guess signing off. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening.
Peace out.
No, wait. Only war, Jordan.
Oh.
There's only war in 40K. There is not any peace.
Eternal war to you, brothers.
There you go.
What Frankie said. Thanks everybody for listening. We love to hear your comments and questions, which you can leave at our Facebook page at Lorehammer or on our Twitter handle at Lorehammer40K. You can also email us at lorehammerpodcast@gmail.com.